Good morning, everybody. How are we today? How's everyone doing out there? Hopefully ninjas are doing all good. Today we got a really special talk, something a little bit different than what we've been doing on Ocean Stories. We've got Lu from Amankai coming to teach us a little bit about breathing for freediving and a little bit of a workshop. Tomorrow, make sure you check back too. We've got Eric Higuera joining us tomorrow for, he's one of the best filmmakers in Baja coming out right now, and he's going to take us on a video journey of some work he's done with Nat Geo and stuff and BBC through some of the cool stuff that we've got out here. So Lu is very important to us. She's someone really close to Dive Ninjas and with us there. She helped us design our program here, our freediving program at Dive Ninjas and everything like that. We work with them. We're one of the Amankai centers, satellite centers. So we're really excited for this talk. As always, make sure to follow us on social media and everything like that. And I'm going to kick it over to you. I'm going to open the poll right now to launch the poll. We've got a different poll today about freediving. So sounds awesome. Let me stop sharing. How are you doing this morning, Lu?
Thank you, Jay. How are you? I'm very, very good. And you?
Oh, sound really good. So I'll kick it over to you. Feel free to share your presentation and we'll get going.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm Lu from Amankai Freediving. Let me see, there we go, so I can find myself. I'm Lu from Amankai Freediving, and today I was invited by Jay, a good friend, to share with you a little bit of breathing for freediving and a slight workshop. For the ones that do not know, Amankai Freediving is a school based in Playa del Carmen, and we are doing a lot of activities now with Jay, and trips and things like that. So very honored and excited to be here with you guys. So going straight into what this is about and what you all want to hear from me is today I'm going to be bringing up a little bit of what breathing is for freediving combined with some theory on it, to make you understand what happens on our body when we breathe and the process of it. We will be covering topics such as breathing sensations and holding sensations, a little bit of breathing physiology so that you can understand what's happening on your body when you feel all these different sensations on your body, and one of the breathing techniques and what's the benefits of this for freediving and during your life and how you can apply it on an everyday life. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you can take something out of it. For the ones that are already freedivers and are already certified freedivers, this is it's pretty basic, but it's to give you a full knowledge for people that are not that familiar with freediving, And I think it's a very good combination and things that you will be able to use if you're a scuba diver or I'm guessing that most of us are people that like the ocean and that are in contact with the ocean. So it will help you, give you some tips through it, By the end, as you know, you'll be able to ask any questions and things that maybe I missed. Go ahead and feel free to ask any questions that you may have, And I'll do my best to take them out. So let's jump straight into it. And I'm going to invite you all to sit back, try to be comfortable. Maybe if you're on a chair, try to be like me, be sitting down nice and straight. If you're lying down on the couch, just make sure that you're not collapsed on your body. And the first thing that I invite you to do is to feel your body, feel your sensations, like just normal breathing, just like you're doing right now. You can put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. I'm gonna see if you can see me. My belly's pretty big right now. I'm 5 months pregnant, so it gets a little bit confusing. But with one hand on my chest and one hand on your belly, just take a moment. We normally don't take too much attention to it. Just take a few seconds to observe where the air is going while we breathe. Yeah, just nice and slowly, not changing your pattern. Observe if the hand on the top, if your chest is where you're breathing, or maybe your belly is what is expanding. Yeah, in your hand you can feel it more. So I'm going to give you a few seconds for it, for you to start feeling what happens while you're breathing. Yeah. Every way is okay. There's no right or wrong way right now. It's just grabbing a sense if you're breathing with both parts, if your hand on the chest is moving more, or if the hand on your belly is moving more. And bring the awareness to, as you breathe, what goes happening. Like we always have a sense that as we breathe, the moment that we bring the attention to it, it changes. Straight away, we become more conscious, we start breathing deeper. Yeah, so just take 2 more deep breaths, and with the sensations in mind, I'm going to invite you to take your first hold of today. Yeah, the idea is for you to pay attention to what happens on your body while we hold our breath. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in, hold the air, and try to hold it as long as you can. Yeah, just don't faint away. Like, make sure that you don't have anything around. But try to take a nice deep breath in, hold, yeah. And as you hold, observe what happens on your body. Don't worry so much about how long are you holding your breath. Try to push yourself a little bit, but my main goal is for you to try to figure out what triggers you to take a next breath. Yeah, what triggers you to stop that hold. So everyone together, you can relax, find a comfortable position. Take a normal, nice breath. And after the next one, you're going to take a nice deep breath in as it comes natural to you, and just hold. And as you hold, don't exhale through your nose. That's cheating, yeah? So if you're having trouble of kind of inhaling, you can pinch your nose. But try to hold your breath and see what happens, what sensations, where the tension of my body is. Maybe I desire to swallow, maybe my chest starts getting tighter. And observe what your mind is telling you. And once you're done, go back to a normal breath, nice deep breath in once you're done. If you can keep pushing it a little bit more, keep going and try to keep going through the sensations. What happens on your belly, what happens on your chest, on your throat, and what's the first action that we do? Is it an inhale or is it an exhale? What are we craving? Yeah? Okay, so not sure, I can't see how many of you are doing it or not. So this is like a very weird part of doing these exercises online, that I can't know really what's going on. So I'm gonna assume that you're all back to breathing, that we don't have any world champions right now, right here, and that everything is normal. So if you want, you can write down your sensations or just keep them in mind, yeah? And I invite, like, the first new thing that I'm gonna tell you about is that feeling that you just had, yeah? That feeling that you just had of, okay, I can't hold it anymore. Okay, I'm done here, I'm done, I'm suffocating, I'm done. That's called urge to breathe, yeah? And that's something it's kind of our best friend, but those kind of best friends that you have that are pretty annoying sometimes, and you're like, okay, I just want to get rid of you for a little bit, but I need you as well. That's our urge to breathe in freediving. Is that good friend that is going to be there to safety, and that is very important for us to have in mind and have with us. But we need to learn on the way how to deal with it. Yeah, and here is where everything comes to understand what's happening on your body and what's creating that urge to breathe. Yeah. So coming up next is understanding the breathing cycle. Yeah. So what we just did was breathing in through our nose. Yeah. We breathe 21% oxygen and 79% nitrogen. Please have in mind, I'm putting numbers in a big scale just to give you the knowledge. I'm not going into scientific perfect points, but I just want you to understand the concept of what's happening on your body, yeah? So when we inhale air, we inhale 21% oxygen, 79 nitrogen, yeah? It goes all through our body, gets into our lungs, and once it reaches our lungs in the alveolus, it creates the gas exchange, yeah? Once it gets to our bloodstream, it's gonna go all through our nervous system, all through our organs, doing what we call the cellular breathing. That is where we're gonna exchange, give some oxygen to our organs and get back some carbon dioxide. Make sense? Yeah, we give them energy and we get the waste that it has to take out. We take out that carbon dioxide. And as you see, when we exhale, we really use very little of that oxygen. We exhale 16% of the oxygen we had, 4% of that waste of carbon dioxide, that for us is waste, but for the world and the plants is very important, yeah? And get back that nitrogen that we don't use on our body, yeah? Do you follow me up to there? So why is this important to understand? You may be asking me, like, what's the point of all of this? And the point of all of this is understanding that carbon dioxide exists on our body and that actually plays a huge role on our comfort and while we hold our breath, yeah? So I'm actually gonna change the screen right now. And let me see, one thing is, I wanna stop sharing this one and I wanna go to the other one. I wanna go to the board. There we go. So I'm here right now, yeah? So what happened? We inhaled, but what happens when we hold our breath, yeah? When we hold our breath, we get all that oxygen to keep circulating through our body because we still have tons of oxygen that we haven't used. Yeah, we just saw that we exhale the majority of oxygen that we inhale. So our body, what just does is keep reusing that oxygen because we still have a lot to go and accumulating carbon dioxide until we let it out, yeah? So what will happen is, I'm gonna do, okay, let's start again. So clear, let's do a little frame, but bear with me on design, yeah, please. And what's gonna happen, we said that we have some carbon dioxide on our body going around, yeah? So our carbon dioxide level will start rising as time passes. Here we're gonna have time. Sorry for my drawings. And this is carbon dioxide. This is CO2, yeah? And here, we're gonna have the oxygen, which started at 100%, yeah? And as we keep holding our breath, it's gonna start going down, yeah? So as we start going down, we are consuming oxygen. Here, this little friend of ours is what we call the urge to breathe, yeah? Make sense? So that urge to breathe is the one that triggers us to actually stop breathing. When we did the exercise of sensations, I don't know if you felt like you were actually needing to exhale more than inhale, and maybe if you had exhaled, the tension of your body would have slowed down and you could actually hold for a little bit longer. Maybe you have felt this before on a swimming pool, playing laps with friends or anything, that if you exhale a little bit, you can keep going. is because our body's not used to this carbon dioxide. Yeah, we are used to just changing it constantly, and we have a very low tolerance to carbon dioxide. Yeah, so this brings us to the main point of freediving. That is going to be that. Sorry, I'm opening the other one. There we go. So the biggest important point, one of the biggest important points of freediving is that we are actually learning how to consume oxygen on a most efficient way. Yeah, if we consume oxygen on a more efficient way, the longer we're going to last, and the longer it's going to take for that urge to breathe to come. Yeah. So if we have quicker movements and we're all in a rush and we're swimming like crazies, we're going to create CO2 much faster. Well, if we're nice and relaxed and our heart rate's nice and slow, we're going to consume less oxygen, which means that our carbon dioxide levels are going to come up and rise slower, which means that our dive is going to last longer. Yeah. So this is a little bit of a crash course for you to have in mind why breathing is so important. Yeah, and this is where we're going to deepen in a little bit into breathing. Yeah. So breathing controls basically our body. Like if you think on every situation on your life, if it is a scary situation, an adrenaline situation, being relaxed watching TV, being at the ocean, scuba diving, swimming with animals, like any of them, you can realize that your breathing pattern was different. Yeah, that maybe with adrenaline, you're like breathing much shorter, with fear as well, or you're actually frozen sometimes. Yeah, but when you're relaxed watching TV or on a place that makes you happy, your breath is much softer and much lighter. Yeah. So what if I tell you that instead of the emotion that you're feeling rules the pattern of your breath, what if we swap that paradigm and we say, okay, if I control my breathing, I can help control how I go through those emotions. Yeah. And that's where breathing comes in, not only for freediving, which we're going to keep looking at, if not for everything that you do in life. And this will help you if you're a scuba diver. This breathing technique that we do actually is super comfortable and super good for your oxygen consumption, for how your air consumption, for how your buoyancy effect, how relaxed you are underwater, and the interactions that you'll have with animals. Same thing if we are on an expedition, a pelagic swimming expedition, and if you're all euphoric and like that, animals can feel that heart rate, can feel that breath, yeah? And will create a distance. So if we control our breathing and our relaxation underwater, that's gonna help us be on a better environment and less invasive for everything that we're doing in the ocean, yeah? So this is why breathing in freediving comes to be the key, because we're looking to be as relaxed as possible so that we can last as long as possible, yeah? And here is where our breathing technique is gonna come. Please have in mind that this is a quick overview over the breathing technique, yeah? And that if you are a more advanced freediver, you probably have developed other techniques if you're looking for depth or comforts, yeah? If you're a beginner, basically in any level basically of freediving, we're looking for comfort and relaxation. And main thing that we're looking for as well is avoiding hyperventilation, which I'm not gonna get into, yeah, because it's a full in-depth topic to get into. But this breathing is gonna be as natural as it can be. And it's gonna help you first and everything to slow down your heart rate. And we will be able to do that right now. Slow down your body. And remember, your heart rate is your heart is the biggest organ that we have that consumes the most amount of oxygen. So we just by that, just by slowing down our heart rate, we're slowing our oxygen consumption, yeah? Slowing our blood flow rhythm, which is gonna help us be more relaxed, more in tune, and perform a better dive, yeah? Either if we're looking for depth, or if we're looking to just go and enjoy a reef, or see animals, or swim with whales, anything that you may be doing, this is gonna help you be more calm and more comfortable, yeah? So I normally would ask if you have questions up to now, but I hope we're all doing good. We'll go into the questions in a little bit at the end of the presentation. So the first things we're gonna do now is, yes, I want you to focus on the different parts of your body we were talking before. So actually, sorry, before that, we're gonna get into that freediving has two main moments of breathing, yeah? You always, like, the first thing that comes into our mind when we think about breathing for freediving is breathe up, relaxation, what's like preparing ourselves for the dives. But actually, we have a second part, that is the recovery breathing. That is the breath that comes just after your dives, when you came out of the water after your hold. And actually, for personal belief, that is more important that you breathe up, yeah? We do have all the oxygen we need to go for a dive, but after a dive, our oxygen levels are gonna be lower. And it's much more important that oxygenation of our body as soon as we get out of the water than being ready for the dive. During the dive, yeah, it may get shorter, it may not be as comfortable, but you have all the oxygen you need. But after you dive, this is a part we tend to leave behind, is the recovery breathing. And I highly recommend you, if you're a snorkeler, if you tend to go swimming in the ocean and you don't have any form of freediving training, that's the part you want to take with you, the recovery breathing. Yeah, the recovery breathing is going to help you always shoot your oxygen levels straight back up high and oxygenated, because actually accidents in freediving normally happen once you reach to the surface or in the last few meters, yeah? So it may happen when you get into the surface, that's when we are more hypoxic, that means low on oxygen. So keep this one in mind, take this as one of the main takeouts of this session. And I'll show you how it is, yeah? And you can do it with me. It's gonna be an active inhale with a passive exhale with no tension. So this means that we're gonna try to compress the air as much as possible, yeah? Hold it for 1 second and exhale all the air passively. We're worried about getting oxygen in. We're not worried about taking that carbon dioxide out, yeah? So we're gonna inhale actively and exhale passively. You're gonna do this every single dive 3 to 5 times or until you feel comfortable, yeah? If you do it a few times right now, you're gonna start feeling a little bit kind of lightheaded because you're getting a lot of air into, it could go into a border of slight hyperventilation, yeah? Especially if you are fully oxygenated. But what we are doing is inhaling oxygen as much as we can as soon as we go up. Normally, you will never need this, yeah? But you need it to be a habit, so that the day that for some reason you extended a little bit of your time trying to take that picture, trying to see your body, catch that fish if you're a fish, whatever was the reason why that dive got extended and you didn't arrive to the surface that comfortable, you want to make sure that that recovery breathing is there, yeah? So that's why, for me personally, recovery breathing is even more important that you breathe up, yeah? Because it's the one that is gonna save us of any kind of accident if we got to the surface, yeah? So remember, every time that you do a hold, in dry or in the water, as soon as you finish, 3 to 5 recovery breaths. Yeah, and that will help you shoot up your levels of oxygen. Cool? So now we're going to get into the breathe up. The breathe up is the breathing that comes before you dive. Is that breath that's going to help us calm down our minds, calm down our body, our heart rate, our circulation system, everything. Yeah. So, and it's going to help us kind of tune on the dive and say, okay, I'm out of whatever I was doing, and now I'm focusing on my dive. This breathe up, it's divided in 2 steps, the relaxation part and the final breaths part. The relaxation part, yeah, it's going to be coming from our belly, or as actually the bottom parts of our lungs, yeah. But for you to have an idea, we're pointing to just under your rib cage, like that and that part there, yeah. And we're going to start trying to breathe from our belly, basically. If you're a singer by any chance around there, you're very used to this. But it's starting to activate that diaphragm that we normally on our daily basis not necessarily use that much, yeah? And what I want to ask you to do is we're going to inhale as you feel comfortable for, don't want to give you exact numbers, 3-4 seconds or whatever makes you reach a comfort zone. And don't tense, don't try to overexpand only to get to those 3-4 seconds. And we're going to exhale passively through double if you can reach, but longer than your inhale always, yeah? So it's going to be looking like this. We want no tension on our chest. We want our chest relaxed, shoulder relaxed. Try to find a comfortable position. If you can lie down, you won't be needing to look at the camera like at the video right now. You can lie down and feel comfortable. And put one hand on your chest and one on your belly. And from here, we slowly going to start taking consciousness of our breathing. And we're going to start inhaling, trying to imagine that we're only throwing the air into our lower hand, into the lower part of our lungs, yeah? So we inhale and exhale for the double of time. Inhale through your diaphragm, using the bottom part, try to relax your shoulders. And exhale to a double of time. You're going to stay there and keep doing it, please, for a little bit longer, trying to get those sensations every time more. Yeah, you can inhale and exhale through your mouth. That's what freediving normally we would do because we have a snorkel on our mouth. And if you're scuba diving, you would be using a regulator on your mouth. Yeah, but if not, what you can do it through your nose as well. That brings a lot of calmness and work. But at the beginning, if it's easier for you to control it through your mouth, you can do it. For me, like, it's really personal. When you're doing it outside the water, it's not necessarily through your mouth. I normally teach it through the mouth because I'm getting people used to breathing through their snorkels or through their regulators. So yeah, I think Sarah was asking, you can inhale or exhale through your mouth, but if you're comfortable doing it through your nose and you have that control already, go ahead and do it through your nose as well. It has a lot of benefits, breathing like that. So keep doing it, and as time passes, you're gonna start finding more comfort in that sensation of using only your belly and not our chest, which for some bad habits of life, we got used to using our chest. Well, if you look at a baby, they're always going to be breathing from their diaphragm and from their bottom part. Yeah, if you watch even yourself just before you go to sleep, you're very possibly going to be doing it from your belly as well. So once we finish with the relaxation breathing, yeah, this will take, the full breathe up takes approximately 2 minutes. Yeah, so your relaxation part is going to be around 1.5 minutes. And if you're practicing at home after this, you can actually time yourself and see how many cycles, inhales and exhales, this actually takes. Yeah, and that will help you know where are you standing. Yeah. So getting to the final breath, those are going to be the ones that actually are going to get you that full of air. So the relaxation part helped you calm down, get your heart rate. And the final breaths are going to be kind of those ready, steady, go. Yeah. So it's more mental than another thing because our body is fully oxygenated, but it's going to help you like kind of pack as much air as you want so that you can have more oxygen circulator later on. Yeah, let's put it on a general, don't take that as a poll, please. So to take your final breath, now yes, we're going to combine bottom part with chest. Yeah, and it's going to be like filling up a glass of beer. Yeah, so if I pour the beer and I go, or just drop it there, I'm going to get a lot of foam and little beer. Same thing right now. If I go, yeah, I'm full, but it doesn't mean that I'm actually have used all my air space. Yeah. So what I want to do is start from the bottom to the top. Yeah. And imagine that you're pressurizing that beer, like you're tilting it and you're slowly putting all that beer in so that you get as full as you can that glass. Yeah. Same thing is going to happen with the final breath. We're going to start from the bottom, slowly reaching all the way to the top. Yeah. So it's going to look a little bit like this. And as I hold, the first thing that I'm going to look is for comfort. So I'm going to relax my shoulders. Let that air find space inside of me. Yeah. I'm going to do that 1 or 2 times. We really don't need more than that. And when you exhale, just do it passively and slowly. Yeah. So final breath is going to be inhale complete. Relax. And cleansing breath, nice and relaxed. 1 or 2 of those ones. You don't need more than that. When you feel nice and comfortable, you hold your breath and there you go into your dive. Yeah. Remember that if you want to have advantage of all of this, you want to do a clean, soft, comfortable, efficient dive. If you go from there and start going like crazy, all that relaxation probably is going to be thrown away really quick. Yeah. So let's do one more exercise really quick. And it's going to be a full breathe up with your hold and your recovery breathing. Yeah. So I'm going to put a stopwatch so I can know more or less what time are we talking about in each section. But you can start by doing approximately, let's do 7 cycles of relaxation. Yeah, so relaxation, only belly breathing, inhaling for a certain amount of time and exhaling for the double. Once you finish those 7 cycles, you're going to do 2 final breaths. And after that second one, you're going to hold your breath. And with all the information that I gave you, the urge to breathe, knowing that the more relaxed we are, the less oxygen we're going to consume. And knowing that all that sensations that you got, like that tightness on your throat, that belly starting to push up while we hold it, that tension and discomfort, all of that came from carbon dioxide and not from oxygen. So just remind that to your mind while you're holding and say like, relax, hey, give me a few more seconds that this is carbon dioxide, this is not oxygen. Yeah, so give me a little bit more of time. Once you're done, Inhale, active. Good. So 3 times to 5 times that recovery. Yeah. So we're gonna start with the first one in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you can start with your relaxation breathing. One hand on your belly if it helps, trying to find that comfort and that expansion of your diaphragm, nice and slowly, yeah? Only your diaphragm. Very nice. There's no right or wrong. The most important part is just for you to be nice and relaxed and that it becomes natural. Nice and relaxed. And if you observe, no matter if you're breathing through your nose or through your mouth, already your body starts to relax. And whenever you're ready, we're going to take that first final breath from bottom to top. Remember, trying to compress that air to start filling up from the very bottom, opening that rib cage as we fill in all the way up. And once we reach our limit, hold for a little second, relax your shoulders, relax the diaphragm, and passively exhale. One last time, nice deep breath in. And hold. Try to hold, finding comfort on the tension, as we say, finding comfort on the discomfort. Holding your breath, reminding yourself that the discomfort comes from carbon dioxide. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. And the main focus is to experience how it feels, this new hold, from where you're doing it, from this relaxation. If you can push a little bit more, keep it going, becoming friends with that urge to breathe. And once you're done, your recovery breathing. Remember, 3 to 5 times, active inhale. Nice, very, very nice. So I normally would ask you, how are you doing? Or would look at you and have tried to coach you through it. But I hope that out of this, you can see the difference between getting ready for a dive, bringing yourself down into the dive, into the hold, instead of like rushing into it. Yeah. There is, it's like, there is a saying that is like, it's like one long breath. At the end of the day, we naturally have that pause in between inhales and exhales. And what we're doing is just extending that pause, becoming friends with that body movement, knowing what my body is doing also helps. And your worst enemy is going to be your mind, the one that's going to be trying to take you out of there. Yeah. So with a little bit of training, more knowledge, more practice, that is going to go slowly changing. Yeah. So set that. I'm guessing that everyone is done already. There's a lot of benefits of breathing. Yeah, this is not only used for the water, but this is used for anything you want to do in life. Actually practicing this at home before you go to sleep, just to breathe up, you'll see that you tune down. It opens your rib cage, starts opening all those muscles we normally don't use. Yeah, and it gives you a much cleaner breath. It helps you cleanse all your organs, all your lungs, and everything. Especially if you're smokers, like you don't need to stop smoking for freediving. Probably freediving will bring that for you, because as we clean our lungs more into our dives and everything, like a lot of time people come to me is like, well, but I'm a smoker, I can't freedive. And that's not true. Actually, like I know a lot of smokers that quit it through their training because they were like, well, that cigarette, no, because then I don't feel as comfortable in the water. And as that went happening, slowly they were cleaning themselves. Yeah. So here are some of those benefits. Breathing is beneficial. Inhale and exhale through nose, through mouth, no matter what. Just bringing your consciousness into what, like the inhale and the exhale, already has a lot of benefits. Here are some of them. It decreases stress, increases calmness, relieves pain, stimulates your lymphatic system, improves immunity. There is so much things that get involved on breathing. That's why yoga, and there are also many different routes that comes to breathing. We use it for what we love, and I guess that you can use this for what you love. If it's scuba, if it's freediving, if it's anything out there that you do, when you breathe through it, you'll see that you'll be more conscious, and it will help you decide how you want to leave that situation. What we were talking about, fear, stress, anxiety, or relaxation. If you manage the breathing through those situations, it's going to be you the one that decides how that goes. Yeah. So, well, that is me for now. Jay, I'm sure that if you have any questions for me.
Thank you very much for that. It was really good. I think we're all really relaxed now and chilling out. Super, super great. So let's ask anybody, if you guys have questions or anything like that, you can kick the Q&A box in the bottom of your screen or top of the screen and type in your questions, and we'll read them out to Lou. If anyone has any questions, we can get started from there. So Sue asks, if you're swimming with fast animals like dolphins and have to swim hard after them and then free dive down, how do you keep relaxed enough and get your breathing ready to dive?
So that's a great question. You're not free diving there. You're not like getting into this zone. What it will help you, like you're going to be swimming and you're going to be breathing. What is better on those situations is breathe normal through your swim. You're going to be agitated. That's normal. So a few couple of like your recovery breathing when you come out is going to be your key to recover that oxygen, because it's not only going to be that swim, diving in, getting to see the dolphins, then coming out, wanting to catch your breath and go back again. That's going to be like your rhythm when you're with a dolphin in the wild. So what I will suggest on that is focus on your recovery breathing so that you can get that air back, so that you can get that oxygen, so that you can enjoy that future dive. And if you can, and the situation permits, as you swim, kind of be conscious of your breathing, because we lose rhythm just by swimming and having a right rhythm and oxygenating yourselves. Sometimes we tend even to swim on the surface while we hold our breath, trying to see the animal. There is so many things happening. So just remember to breathe before going down. That's going to be already changing. Yeah. And the other one is going to be recovering your breath after every single dive. Do 3 to 5 recovery breathings before you try to duck dive with them again. I guess that's my main recommendation with an animal as fast as a dolphin can be.
Awesome. It's actually funny that we asked this too. There's a secret project that me and Lou and the rest of Amankai and Donna from Dive Ninjas have all been starting to work on these last few months. We've been developing a course that lines up with the expeditions we do and these things on basically how to take what you learn in a freediving course and how that can transition from the line to open ocean or to, you know, swimming with animals and these kind of things. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be coming in the near future, but shh, secret.
Keep it between us.
Awesome. So Griselda says, no question, very clear, love it, and will practice.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome. And then Chandra asks, how does one improve breath hold?
Okay, that comes with a combination of things. There is, like, what we're gonna train is first more knowledge to understand, as we learned today about carbon dioxide. There is a lot of other things that got involved, and there's training tables that will help you increase that tolerance to carbon dioxide, which will increase that comfort through your holds and will increase that time of oxygen consumption. So slowly through that, you're going to be able to hold your breath through a longer time, you know. So there is a techniques that we can use so that you, with constant training, you can improve your breath hold a lot. Like, it's normal that people with a little bit of training get to do their 5 minutes, 4 minutes and a half. It's something very common, let's say.
Awesome. Christine asks, I'm a beginner scuba diver and I have some issues with equalizing. Do you think that breathing practice may be helpful for me prior to diving?
Breathing is going to be helpful for you if you're a beginner scuba diver, to be more calm when you do it, and calmness and relaxation will help you equalize more comfortably. Troubles on equalization come related with tension as well as technique, but actually starting by breathing and relaxing is going to be the first thing that releases all your muscles and your spacious tube for air to actually be able to pass. After that, there is equalization techniques. We're actually having a live about that tomorrow on Amankai, because it's the biggest barrier on scuba and on freediving. Scuba diving, we luckily have time, so take your time to go down. Don't rush it. Take your time on the surface until you clear, and then slowly go down and breathe through it. Don't feel the tension that, oh, other people are moving, I need to get there. Take your time to it. But there is a technique, and probably you're combining a technique that's called Valsalva with Frenzel, and you're not getting fully that air right there. But breathing definitely can help you with that.
That's great. And I definitely, I mean, Christine, I would recommend, if you have time tomorrow, to check out their talk, Amankai's talk, for the equalization techniques and everything like that. It may be a little beneficial. What a lot of people don't realize is even in higher forms of, say, scuba diving, like in deep technical diving, when we're doing deep exploration and these kind of things, one of the techniques we teach students, even in these super advanced forms of diving, are like, you know, before the dive is to sit down, center yourself, breathe, work on your breathing techniques and everything to kind of calm yourself and be relaxed, so that way you're clear-headed and you're going to be, you know, moving as you should be when you're in these more, say, dangerous or advanced types of diving and these kind of things. It's something that is used, you know, all throughout diving, from beginners all the way out through guys with 10,000 dives that are doing dives to 500 feet underwater and all that. So it's really, really cool. So I definitely recommend checking out their workshop. If you have the link to it, you could post it in the chat for them if you want to.
Let me see if I have it. Like, it's going to be live on Facebook. It's going to be on Amankai Facebook. Let me see if I
Oh, okay. So perfect. Yeah. So if you follow them out, you can check them out on Facebook and check it out live. What time is it tomorrow?
It's going to be, which time? Playa del Carmen's time, 12:30, which is European time. UK time is around 6:30 and European time is around 7:30.
Okay, so there you go, guys.
And it's like 10:30 space time.
Time zones are not our expertise. So, okay, so Chloe asks, breath holding is typically easier for me when my face is in the water versus on land. Is this a mental thing, or is there a physical reason for this?
There is a physiological reason for that. There is called mammalian diving reflex. Yeah, and it happens, very shortly explained. We have sensors all through our face that recognize that our face is underwater, and will trigger an emergency response saying, I don't know when I'm going to get more oxygen. So let's bring it down a notch so that we can consume that oxygen as long as possible. So the mammalian diving reflex, which every mammal has it, yeah, will help you hold your breath for a longer period of time than outside the water. And that's a big part of freediving because it triggers a lot of other activities, like one of most importantly, the bradycardia, that is slowing your heart rate. So straight in, you're having a push from your body that's going to help you hold your breath for a longer period of time, between others. So yeah, it's very natural that that happens.
It's really incredible that we have this, through evolutionary thing, and we just have kind of lost touch with it over the, through the years.
We're mammals. Like, that's the crazy part, and we forget we are mammals, and that's something that changes like the game, like when we remember about it.
Yeah. That's incredible. So Coral asks, why can't we exhale to get rid of carbon dioxide while on the way up? Wouldn't that prevent would that prevent shallow water blockouts?
Actually not, and actually is a very important part of the freediving theory. And what will happen is, like, if you remember the little chart that I showed you that I tried to draw a little bit ago, your body already has a certain amount of carbon dioxide constantly running through your body, yeah? If you get rid of this, what will happen is, the logic of saying it's going to extend my urge to breathe is true, yeah? But your oxygen level will keep coming down at the same speed, and we have a moment on that it gets to what we call hypoxia, yeah? Hypoxia is when we're low on oxygen and our body can't do anything about it, and it's gonna start shutting off. Oh, that's O2. Yeah? So the difference is that between I feel my urge to breathe naturally, to the moment I actually need to breathe, I have quite enough time to finish my dive, go back up, and everything is going to be fine. If I get rid of carbon dioxide, which is what hyperventilation does to our body, my time between the moment I feel the urge to breathe and the moment I actually need to breathe became way lower. So it actually will remind you later than you need to breathe, and will take you have way more risks of shallow water blackouts than without it. Explained very, very fast and quick.
Oh, it's really interesting. It's very interesting. Because logically, it would sound like that would be the way to do it, but you're actually making yourself hypoxic. You know what I mean?
And that's why hyperventilation have been the technique for all the 90s, because they didn't know what actually was happening, and they felt that, well, if I get rid of this, I'm going to extend my dive. And it's no, what is going to extend my dive is how I consume oxygen, not how I release my carbon dioxide.
No, interesting.
So actually, for anyone that wants, there is on SSI, if anyone here is SSI and it's not a certified freediver, in your users, you can find a free material of Try Freediving. If you're not an SSI user, you can send us an email. I'll put my email right now on the chat. And with your full name, date of birth, and email address, and we can assign you that material. It's completely free, and it goes a little bit deeper into mammalian diving reflex, hyperventilation, not as deep as the freediving course would go. It just gives you a little bit more of an idea of what it is about, yeah? And of course, you can always join us or Diving Ninjas for a full course and find out.
Sounds super good, thank you. So Julia says, thanks for the great workshop. I feel calmer than I have in days. Do you have any experience teaching people with asthma and allergies? I always feel like the breathing technique helps me feel like I actually get enough oxygen when I often don't just breathing normally.
It has to do, and we have had a lot of people that have suffered of asthma and have come to the courses. You always go at a different speed because you don't want, it's not, you're not breathing that dry air that you breathe in scuba, and it can trigger the asthma way quicker and different. If not, you're breathing natural, just that you're starting to have conscious of where you're putting the air. And what happens with asthma, as well, getting into technical, but all your lungs are kind of like clogged, let's say, yeah? So you don't really use all that space, and that can agitate you and get that that activity going and trigger an asthma attack, no? When you're breathing like this, you're starting to open and clean. So it's normal that you can feel more relaxed through it. And it's a good practice for your lungs to actually kind of start expanding and opening and finding more space on it.
Very interesting. So Sarah and Tasia asks, they both ask, should we inhale and exhale only through the mouth, or is it through the nose more beneficial, or both, or?
Yeah, I saw that during the chat, as I was mentioning. Inhale or exhale through your nose or through your mouth, both are going to be beneficial. There is a lot of work on yoga and pranayamas that are done through your nose. Inhales and exhales, both things are beneficial, and any of them are going to help. I normally teach freediving with the mouth because you're going to be using a snorkel, or well, if you're scuba diving, you're going to use a regulator. So just to get you used to that management of air through your mouth, you know. But both of them are super beneficial. You'll find that there is a lot of pranayamas that are done through your nose, but there's a lot of cleansing breaths that, if any of you are moms out there have used it for birth, that is like through your mouth, getting out the air and everything. So both of them are super beneficial.
Awesome. So Luca asks, do you think anyone can learn to equalize properly? I generally have problems equalizing while scuba diving.
Yeah, anyone can learn how to equalize. Anyone. Equalization is a technique, and it's one of the biggest barriers in freediving and even in scuba. To be honest, I was a scuba instructor first, and I never got taught what equalization was. So I would just tell my people, pinch and blow, and that's what we normally teach. There is actually a lot of technique behind, so anyone can learn it. It's just a matter of getting a little bit deeper into what's that technique. There is Valsalva and there is Frenzo. We tend to do Valsalva that is a little bit too strong on our body, and that may limit that equalization. And when you transition to Frenzo, it's much softer, much easier, and it flows quicker. But it's a little bit of patience because it's a whole area of our body that we're not used to managing. You know, we're not used to understanding what happens and how to throw air consciously into our ears, how is to use the tongue instead of our lungs or things like that. But it's a technique, and anyone can learn equalization. We do focus a lot in Amankai on that because it is one of the biggest problems or the biggest barriers for people to actually learn to equalize. And a lot of times we end up losing people that could fall in love with the ocean or keep freediving because they just cannot reach 5 to 10 meters, and that will always kind of be a bummer. So you're welcome to join us tomorrow. We'll be speaking a lot about the main barriers of equalization during the lives that we have on Amankai. And if not, send us the questions. We do a lot of workshops and stuff on equalization for that.
Awesome. So, and Ross asks, when you equalize, does it affect your holding of your breath hold?
No, because once you equalize on the normal, on a relaxed way, there is almost no tension. Like when we equalize from our throat, that is what's called frenzel, that it's moving the air from our mouth to our ears. It's such a gentle move that there is no strength or tension. It should be soft and easy. It looks just like this. Yeah, while you will most commonly figure out something equalizing, like, and yeah, that tension affects your dive, yeah, because you're consuming and you're pressuring all your body to try to equalize. While if you pretzel and you just use your tongue as a piston to throw the air into your ears, then you're super relaxed and there's no tension to interfere on your dive.
Awesome. Very interesting. And Chloe asks, do you change the technique if you are freediving for depth versus time?
Yeah, yes, depending. Like when you're looking for depth, you're not looking for time. And when you're looking for time, you're not looking for depth, basically. Yeah, when we're focusing on a new depth, on reaching a new goal or something like that, we're focusing on going and coming back because we want to be as clean as possible during that dive. And we're going to go moving those comfort zones. So maybe a dive that at the beginning can be challenging, like 20 meters, then you probably will work on time on 10 meters and not at 20. So that you get, and you build up on time at 10, so that when you get to 20 and come back, you are super comfortable. Yeah. And if you're looking for time to reach like maximum goals on statics means just holding your breath, you will work on the surface and you're not going to be working on diving down. Like the world records are around 12 minutes of breath hold naturally. It doesn't mean that they're diving for 12 meters. Like they're playing that in the pool, basically.
Awesome. I'm going to add in the group chat too, guys, since there's a few scuba divers that ask questions and everything. We've got a couple of great articles from writers that work with dive ninjas and everything about what it's like moving from scuba to free diving and what to expect. And, you know, a lot of the things that, you know, you might think are different or harder or whatever. Both Donna, our lead freediving instructor, and also one of our guests, Sue, has written some good articles on these kind of things. So I'm going to paste the link into the chat right now. You can check them out on there. So also the Sally asks, when do you cover the mammalian diving reflex?
When do I cover it?
What course is it covered in, I guess would be the question.
Level 1.
That's okay.
During the first level, you cover, basically as you progress on the courses, you just go deeper into every subject because you're looking for new depths and your body will act on a different way. Yeah. So basically what you're doing in every course, you're going to get into the topic. So in level 1, you get into mammalian diving reflex from the very beginning, understanding all the main concepts. Yeah. Then on level 2, you'll go deeper into what happens. The first 20 meters are your first course. Once you reach from 20 to 30, then other physiological changes come in. So then you will cover a little bit deeper into that. And then from 30 to 40 or more, you will cover it on the following level. Yeah.
Awesome. And going on from that, Ross asks, is your breath hold affected by your depth?
That's a good question. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. What it is affected is that it's a longer period of time to arrive there and to come back. Yeah. So that also changes. And yeah, the deeper you go, you're not looking to spend more time at the bottom. You're looking for arriving to the depth and just coming back up, basically. But not the oxygen going around.
It's not changing because it's just being compacted essentially. So Fernanda says, Lou, you are such an amazing teacher. What tips do you have for controlling the mind during a breath hold?
So that comes with practice and with our own demons. Is learning to deal with our own demons, basically, and talking to our mind. Like the more knowledge we have of what's happening on our body, the more we will understand like what's going on. Yeah. So that's gonna change. A lot of breathing, meditation, all of that, of course, then that helps a lot on your technique for sure.
That, and I think too is like it's just learning the techniques too. Like for even like, you know, I was amazed. I did my freediving training with Kai a couple of years ago in Playa del Carmen, and when like before then I never really had an urge to. I can duck dive and go underwater and these kind of things, but my breath holds were very short, and I was like, insanely amazed at how just a couple days of training took that from 30-40 seconds all the way up to almost 3 minutes, like in just a few days of training, like learning the actual techniques, learning how to center yourself and relax and all these kind of things. It's incredible. It's amazing when you have really good teachers.
Thank you. But I think it's as with our minds. For me in freediving, we learn as well that we are our own teachers, in the sense of, as Fed was bringing, mental part in freediving is a huge part. Mm-hmm. And it's you with yourself. Like as an instructor, we can guide you through and we can tell you, hey, I'm looking at this or I'm looking at that. But it's only you, the one that can overcome and say, okay, it was this or it was that. Or like fear presents itself a lot in different ways. A lot of times it's something that we will be talking soon about. Fear, like people talk about fears like, no, but I'm not scared of depth. And it's like, no, but it manifests on a different way maybe that stops you and triggers your brain. Your brain is constantly looking to how to take you out of there. Imagine that you are in an environment that for your brain is out of the world. Like you are not being able to consume oxygen. It's not natural for it. So the first thing your body will look is for mental triggers that will take you out of that situation. And every time that you skip one, it will give you a little bit of a break and you'll advance on your path. And then it will trigger another one, which you will have to overcome again. And that's how we go breaking barriers into depth. That's why it's not only technique, go and, well, if you can equalize, you can go down, because the mind plays a huge part in it, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. Really, really true. Sarah asks, with all the time we have lately, would you recommend some books about techniques or physiology, anatomy, etc.?
Okay, depends if you're a freediver already or not. If you're not a freediver yet, I would suggest you can go to get an online course of all the theory, for example, because the books, once you go into other books of physiology and things like that, or books that maybe Umberto Pelissari wrote, or people not like famous people of the freediving industry, you won't get the full knowledge because you're missing the basis. So I would suggest that if you are not a freediver yet, I would go for an online theory course. At least get the materials for the course and go over them, because that's going to help you have a full view of every single aspect of the course and what freediving is. If you're already a freediver, and depending your level, is what I would suggest. There are a lot of books on training, yoga for freediving, mental for freediving. You can check Umberto Pelissari, Federico Mana have several books on it. The forum of Molchanovs is also doing a lot of things. We are bringing chats every Monday and Thursdays about freediving, different topics of freediving, going deeper into them. So it depends your level of freediving, what I would suggest you. But if you have no knowledge yet, first go to the basic knowledge, because anything that you'll read after that won't make any sense for you because you'll be missing the basics.
No, you got to start with the foundation. And right now with everything going on, it's great how the training agencies, a lot of them have kind of either discounted platforms or made it ways that we could actually work with students, where like you can start an e-learning course with SSI or PADI or whatever it might be, but then you can jump on Zoom like we're doing now and be able to actually talk through the theory with them and get a little more one-on-one than just doing e-learning and all that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I recommend, because that's what we're doing with some students that have booked courses that have to be moved, but they're at home and they want that knowledge. So it's get the materials, get with the school, and they will give you those courses online so that you can actually go through the theory and get your questions out, because of course it's different just reading the material, that's saying, okay, let's practice and do everything. And that means that whenever you go and visit them or any other school, like you're done with that. You're only for the fun and not for the basics.
Exactly. You get to come in and just start diving. We were just starting that the other day. We launched a whole new program at Dive Ninjas for the courses from the couch, which is, for me, is the greatest thing in the world, because it's like you get to skip the theory part and actually get right into the water by the time you get there, which is
I always recommend that. Like when people come for an open water course at that time, that was like, it's a long course with a lot of pool and this and that. It's like, start at home. We do it online. You do all that part, and once you get here, you get more water time, basically.
exactly. You get more time to play. That time can be spent doing more dives or more free dive practice, etc. Super awesome. So Luca asks, can you cross over from one certification agency like PADI to SSI or IDA? And what are the differences?
Okay, it depends the agency, depends the level that you have. At a first level, PADI, SSI, AIDA, mod channels are pretty much the same on the first level. Afterwards starts to be a little bit of a difference in agencies, especially getting to the third level, that is, or the level 3 of SSI, or the advanced or master of PADI, or AIDA 3 or 4, that are basically the equivalents. There starts to be a gap. We don't have, like in scuba, one that manages all the agencies and says the minimum standards for each level has to be this. So there is a little bit of a battle there. For me personally, there's no best or worst agency. The materials that they cover, most of them are pretty much the same content. It's who teaches it for you. For me, I'm a guy in the network that we're creating, and that's how Jay as well is a partner of ours. We believe in the people that teach you the course, not so much in the agency that you're going to get certified by. After the second level, if you want to take it to a professional level, then yeah, you want to figure out your cards of where you will be working, with agencies work most on the area and things like that. But if you're not looking for that, I would focus on a school that follows your beliefs or your ways more than which agency are they working with, because it's very different, the experience that you can have with each instructor. Yeah. That's more of my column on that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that goes in pretty much anything, in freediving, scuba, tech diving, etc. And there's a lot of interagency battles in these things, but you've got your set standards, but with it all comes down to the instructor you're working with and what they're doing. And for us, I think it's the same with you guys when you were still doing PADI and everything, but with Dive Ninjas, like we teach, PADI or SSI, but the course that we teach is essentially identical. It is the same training, the same everything. We do, our way of teaching that we developed with you guys and everything like that. And it doesn't really matter whether you get a PADI card or an SSI card at the end of the day. We're still training you to be able to do what you're supposed to do and being able to do it safely.
I completely agree. For me, it's that who gives you the tools and who helps you achieve your goals, not the paper that you will have written on, to be honest. Awesome. But that's a very common question, and it's normal that it comes up when you're trying to figure out where to go or with whom to do it, And I have to say one thing that I do believe in freediving is that being a record holder or a champion or this or that doesn't mean that you're an amazing instructor too. So that's something that comes up a lot in freediving now, that it's a growing sport. It's a competitive sport compared to scuba. And sometimes we're like, well, but that one won this, so he's going to be able to give me more tools or less tools. And I highly believe that they can be great instructors also, it depends, but I think you need to find the people that you connect with when you're looking for the course and for your goals, which is the one that's going to help you achieve them on your own ways, basically.
Wow. So Coral asks, do you have any suggestions on how to practice freediving techniques at home, since most of the world is basically under lockdown and we can't go diving?
Yeah, that's the beauty of freediving. There's a lot of dry training to be done. A lot of dry training when it comes to breath holding, to mental preparation for stretching, from yoga and everything. So there is a lot of things that you can do for it. And actually it's a big compliment. If you look to a cycle of someone that is training themselves to look for a personal best. So it combines dry training, gym, workout, and water. It's not only water what you need to improve in freediving. So you're welcome to write us and maybe give you some guidelines. If you're a certified freediver, like as I always say, first get the knowledge if you're not, before you try to start training for something that you don't know even what you're doing, basically. But if you are, you can write us. We may be able to give you some guidelines of where to look for, but there is a lot of information each time more out there for training.
Awesome. So one more, Ligia asks, would you recommend to do some kind of yoga sequences to complement freediving training?
Totally. Goes hand by hand. Totally. Like yoga, you can use it as everything that is thoracic, stretches are going to be super important. And actually you combine them with full, like moving slowly towards it, please. Like if you've never done it before, don't go for full breath and try to stretch because you can hurt yourselves. Yeah, but slowly moving into full lung stretchings through your yoga practice, as well as empty lung stretchings through your yoga practice. Yeah, so there is a lot that you can do on that for sure.
Awesome. Well, perfect. I think, we got one more question just came in. Dolores says, Louis, you're such a great teacher, super calm, relaxed, and full of knowledge. Thank you.
Ay, gracias, Dolo.
Awesome. One more, and actually one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. So Sarah responded, the one that was asking about the books. She said she has levels 1 and 2 freediver with SSI, and she's also a PADI scuba instructor. And she would eventually like to become a freediving instructor. She said, would it be beneficial to go SSI or PADI? And that's it.
Yeah, we can get a lot into that subject, like of which best agency to become an instructor. In that sense, I think it depends where you want to work a lot, like most than anything. Just like an instructor course of scuba, at the end, is your journey up to there. Once you become an instructor with any agency, it's going to be where you're going to work, where you're going to be able to practice it. So I would look at that mostly. But write me, it's going to be easier when it comes to books as you're certified and you already have some knowledge. Write me on Facebook or Instagram or anything, and we can give you a few books as suggestions for you to start looking at it.
Awesome. Well, Lou, thank you so much. That's all the questions we had today. Thank you for coming today and being with us and taking time out.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Glad to have you. We'll hope to have you guys back on Ocean Stories again soon. Thank you for everybody that tuned in today and asked all questions and everything like that. If you come up with any other questions or anything like that, you can jump on the Dive Ninjas Instagram. There's a post about Lou, and you can ask questions there, and she'll gladly tag back and answer and everything too. Or feel free to send them an email. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram too. They're tagged in both posts, so you can find their links, and also the Facebook's in the chat. Tomorrow we're back here at 10 a.m. Pacific time with Eric Hogata, who is a filmmaker out of Baja. He's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best in Baja right now doing video and everything. He's an incredible filmmaker. So he's going to take us on a little bit of a visual journey. For everyone else, also tonight, I'm doing a special offshoot on at Insider Academy. I'm giving a talk at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry, I keep getting these time zones all messed up. At 5 p.m. Pacific time or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8 a.m. in Hong Kong. I'm giving a talk on Insider Academy about some of the exploration work I and Dive Ninjas have been doing throughout Baja and the conservation projects we work on here. So tune in on that. You can check out the link on Dive Ninjas web, on the Dive Ninjas social and all that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 11. Thank you so much, Lou. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Great day. Bye.
Awesome. Bye. Thank you.